Grand Rising, everyone. So, excuse my lighting and excuse my background, but today I decided I'm going to take a little leap of faith. I decided I wanted to start a journey of my vision loss. So, I wanted to go through and make a couple of videos to talk about the journey that I've gone through so far of losing my vision, the troubles that I've gone through, the mental health that comes along with losing your vision. And so today I decided I am going to talk to you about the year leading up to my vision loss and what actually happened with me losing my vision. So let me just introduce myself. I am Danny Shamay, and I am 32 years old. So when I was 27, I began to lose my vision. So the story goes that I am a diabetic. And you always hear those stories, oh, you better be careful when you're a diabetic, you can go blind. Yes, I heard the stories many of times. I heard it. But I never actually thought it would happen to me. Well, it did happen to me, and you know what? It was rough. It's still kind of rough. I'm dealing with it day by day, but it's getting a little bit better knowing that there's a community out there that can help me get through this process. So, let's go back to the beginning. Back in 2017, I went for my annual eye review. And when I went to the eye doctor for my annual eye review, he noticed a spot on one of my eyes. So he referred me over to see a retina specialist. So when I went to see this retina specialist, she told me that I had diabetic retinopathy, which diabetic retinopathy is basically I have, like in layman's terms, I have extra blood vessels growing in the back of my eyes. They should not be there. And so what we decided to do was a treatment plan where I had to get laser treatments in my eyes, where they hooked me up to this little thing, and the laser beam was on my eyeball, and they're basically lasering away the extra blood vessels. So I did a few sessions of that. My eyes were still healthy, they were still good. So, I want to say it was August, September of that year, I started to notice a little bit of a change in my vision, but I was in denial. I just let it go. It was like maybe my eyes are just getting worse as I'm getting older. I always wore glasses, so that, I was like maybe I just need to get a stronger eye prescription. So by October, I went back to the eye doctor and was like, okay, I think I need to get a stronger eye prescription. I can barely see out of these glasses. So they did the exams on my eyes, and he's like, "Oh, you need to go back to your retina specialist." And so I'm like, "Okay, what's going on?" So I made an appointment, go back to the retina specialist because I hadn't seen the retina specialist since, I believe, April or May, because we had only scheduled to do a certain amount of sessions, and then we would go from there, and we hadn't had an appointment set up for a while, so the retina specialist appointment wasn't scheduled until I think the following year to see how my eyes were doing. So I made the appointment in October. And so I knew that my vision was getting worse because I was at work, and it was the state fair was going on in our state, which I am in North Carolina. And if you're in North Carolina, you know the state fair comes in October. So, state fair is going on, and the job that I was at, we actually worked the state fair. I was having a difficult time seeing things that were like right in front of me. I'm like squinting. I'm like like I have like magnifiers. I have like all this stuff to see, try to see. So I ended up taking a leave of absence from work. So, because I was on my way to work one morning and I couldn't see. I'm driving to work and I couldn't see. I make a turn, and when I made the turn, a car nearly hit me because I couldn't see the car coming in front of me. So I was pulled over by a cop, and when I got pulled over by a cop, he was just like questioning, am I okay? And I'm like, yeah, I'm fine, I'm fine. I just misjudged what I thought, how far the car was. So, anyways, I go to the retina specialist, and the retina specialist that I go and see, she says, okay, we're going to have to do surgery on your eye. Plus, you have a cataracts in your eye. So, I don't know if I want to perform that surgery because of the cataracts. I want to remove the cataracts. Plus, I want to reattach the retina because by this time my retina was detached. And I'm like, okay. She says, but I want to get a second opinion. I want to send you off to Duke Eye Center. So I'm like, okay. So I made the appointment for Duke Eye Center. I went to Duke Eye Center and I went and saw a retina specialist at Duke Eye Center. The retina specialist I saw at Duke Eye Center, I love him, but the first time I met him, it was a little bit scary. I went into Duke Eye Center. I had like a 1 o'clock appointment, and I didn't leave there until about 6 that evening. Got there, and they had to do a whole bunch of tests on my eyes. They had to dilate my eyes. They had to take like dozens of pictures of my eyes. They did an ultrasound of my eyes. They injected me with like a vegetable oil, food dye type of thing to get color photos of my eyes. When I say they did all types of testing and pictures on my eyes, I mean they did all types of testing and pictures on my eyes. And so from there, I went and I saw the retina specialist. And as he's looking at my pictures, he's like, yes, you need surgery on your eyes. Well, not eyes. I needed surgery on my right eye to be exact. My right eye was the compromised eye. I could still see out of my left eye at that time. My right eye, everything was just really blurry, and it's like I could not see. I literally could only see if I looked up, which is strange. It was very, very strange. So he's like, there's a 50-50 chance I could save the eye. I'm like, okay, let's go, let's book it. I want to save my eye. I want to get this over with. So he's like, okay, we'll reach out to you to schedule this surgery. At the time of all of this, I was going through some personal issues anyways. So the personal issues added on to the drama of the stress and the drama of my vision just made it worse, where I was in deep denial for a while. I was in denial up until it hit me. Your vision is really compromised. Your vision is going. You need to snap out of this denial. But when I snapped out of the denial, I went into a depression, which I will discuss the mental health part of this at a later time. But the first thing, so with all of that going on, it was just one of those where I was a little like torn and like hurt and just like blaming myself for everything that I was going through. Family problems, my vision, my health. I was just really bad. I was bad off at that time. I mean, people knew that I was down, but I don't think they knew how deep and dark my mind really was at that time. So, anyways, we getting back to the vision part of it and that what happened next. I ended up getting a call in December and saying that my surgery was scheduled for that following January the 18th. But January 17th, I needed to come in and we'll do pre-op January 17th. The surgery will be January 18th, which is an outpatient surgery. Then January 19th, I come in for post-op and we'll go from there. Fine, cool beans. So January 17th comes. It snows the day before. So we ended up going to Durham and getting a hotel in Durham. And my mom and my brother took me. So we go get a hotel. We go do pre-op and all this stuff. I'm like a little nervous and, everything. Surgery. Not sure how to feel about it. So then January 18th comes. Go and I have surgery. My surgery was about 4.5 to 5 hours long. When the doctor went in to do my surgery, I had a hole in my right eye. So they had to put a gas bubble in my right eye. And that was like the most irritating pain like a person could ever deal with. They took me back and of course, they put me under. And as the doctor described it, he said that he put me on the Michael Jackson drug. He gave me the same anesthesia that Michael Jackson used, which I ended up sleeping through most of the surgery. There was a point in the surgery where I did wake up and I did ask a question. I could hear the doctor talking, but I ended up going right back to sleep. But they put you to sleep to put the block in your eye. And then, like I said, some people stay up, some people sleep. This surgery, I slept. I woke up, asked the question, but then I went back to sleep. So, of course, like I said, I had a hole in my eye. He had to put a gas bubble in my eye, wrapped up my eye, and I still have vision in my left eye at this point in time. And this is in January of 2018. Had vision in my left eye. So February, I had to go back for a follow-up appointment with Duke Eye Center just so they can see the progress of my eye. And they had said that the vision in my right eye should have been back by then, but the vision never came back in the right eye. So when they went back and they did more scans and did more testing, they saw that I needed to have another surgery. The retina is still detached. My retina was basically detached. What they wanted to do was go in and reattach my retina. So he went back in there to attach the retina, and like I said, the vision never came back. So when I went back to see him in February, he noticed the same thing. So I had to have another surgery. I believe I went to see him. I believe the date, it was like February 14th when I went to see him. It was like Valentine's Day. And he was like, I want to do the surgery tomorrow. There was no like, oh, let's do it in a week or two. It was, you come back here tomorrow. We're doing this surgery tomorrow. So again, go home, go get up the next morning, go do my surgery. And this time the surgery wasn't as long as the first time surgery, but it still was, still was a surgery. So, of course, put me on the Michael Jackson drug. This time I actually stayed awake throughout the whole surgery. So I actually heard what he was saying throughout the surgery. I complained my foot was itching, and he had one of the nurses like sit down at the bottom of the bed and scratch my feet for me, which that was actually very nice. You never hear doctors say, "Oh, just scratch her feet. Just sit there and scratch her feet for her." But yeah, he had one of the nurses scratch my foot. And so he did the surgery, went back the next day for post-op, and this is in February. Vision still never came back. So with both surgeries, there's like a there's like a process after you have the surgery. You have to put these eye drops in your eyes. You have to keep your eyes clean. Like, my eyes would get so crusty and watery. It was like we constantly were cleaning my eyes like 4 times a day. Plus, we're doing eye drops on top of all of that. And so I had like a shield over my eye, and I use tape to hold the shield up. So my face is like rubbing raw because of the tape on my face and then peeling the tape off of my face. So I'm very, very uncomfortable. I'm very miserable through this whole process. Not to mention that with this gas bubble, I couldn't lay flat on my back. I couldn't, like, I had to like lay a certain way with my head like elevated or tilted down. I couldn't hold my head back. So I was very uncomfortable throughout this whole process of the surgery and all the way up until I was healed. So by April of 2018, the vision in my left eye completely went out of nowhere. It just was like gone. It was like I woke up one morning and there's nothing in that eye. And that was just very devastating. So, of course, at this time, I'm still seeing I'm still seeing my eye doctor, still going to Duke Eye Center like once a month so they can check the process of my eyes and see how my eye is healing. And they're just keeping an eye on the left eye. And so when I go in there and I'm like, "Hey, I can't see anything out of my left eye anymore." And they're like, "Oh crap, what's going on with the left eye?" So, of course, they're running all tests again. They're doing the ultrasounds on my eye. And if you ever had an ultrasound on your eye, it's just like if you haven't had one, it's just like a regular ultrasound. They put the gel on you and they rub the little thing on it, but it's just your eye. So they put the gel on your eye and they rub the little machine on your eye, take pictures of your eye. That way they can take pictures like of the back of your eyes and everything. So I had to get another ultrasound, and they looked at my eyes, and he says that he doesn't know if there's nerve damage in my eyes or if there's something what's going on with my eyes. He feels there might be some nerve damage, but he wants to do more surgeries, but he doesn't want to do more surgeries at the same time because of the fact that if he goes back in there, he's afraid he'll do more damage than anything. So I've had to deal with that. And hearing all of this, by this time I'm 28 years old. Most devastating thing you can ever hear. And like I said, I went through a deep, 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 deep depression. I went through the 5 stages of grief, but I stayed in that deep depression and anger for a long time. I'm finally starting to come out of all of that now. It took years, it took a lot. I'm starting to come around, which I'm very proud of myself. I, like I said, I will be showing you my journey, talking about my journey, and telling you what I've gone through. So bear with me with these videos. I am doing this by myself. I will eventually have some help with editing. I will eventually have every, thing right. I don't know if you're actually looking at my face. You could be looking at the ceiling. But like I said, I'm just taking you on the journey with me. So please like, subscribe, and share, comment. I do like to answer questions. Am not afraid to answer questions about what I'm going through, but keep it respectable and have a great day.